Alright, welcome back to another Embrace Destiny video, everybody. Today we are talking about Destiny 2. We're only a few weeks away, and just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about some things that I hope, that I hope are fixed for the game coming up. So, a couple of quick points. As many of you probably know, there's been more notes released about changes coming to Destiny 2. We saw some of the main design changes in the beta, but with the PC, with the computer beta coming up soon, we've seen that some of the complaints we've had from the beta have been fixed. So, things like our super ultimate abilities will be recharged faster. That was something that they clearly saw was an issue, and they fixed, and power ammo will drop more often in PvE, story missions, strikes, things like that. There's a whole list of notes over on Bungie.net, so feel free to take a look. But I think it's just another example of Bungie listening to their players. And that's the thing I really like about Bungie and Destiny in general, is that... oh yeah, this mission. I haven't done that in a while. Is that it seems that Bungie listens. I mean, there's a lot of people who complain about a lot of different things in the game, but I have to admit that a lot of times they at least try to move toward fixing the issues that the community agrees on as being a problem. But before we get into Destiny 2, it's coming up in less than a month, I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the things that I still see in Destiny, and that they're kind of small, most of them, and I hope that it's something that Bungie has taken into account.
Update. The building with the radar? That's the Skywatch.
Sorry, with the radar disabled, I kind of had to remember where I was going. There we go. I think. No. Different mission I thought. So, what do we got? First thing I would like them to fix in Destiny 2 is the menu. So look how long it's taking here to load my weapons. And to load this category. And to load this again. Most people agree that it's pretty slow, and I understand that they were held back by last generation's console limitations, but it's just something I really hope they fix. Interestingly enough, they have said that... yeah, I do have a vehicle. They have said that certain endgame activities will have an item loadout lockdown. So instead of going in and changing your weapons mid-strike, you're expected to have and use the same items all the way through, which I think is really interesting. Of course, if that's their only solution to the menus are too slow, if the only solution they have is, we'll just make the menus less relevant, well, that's pretty terrible. The next thing I would like fixed is, there we go, is I would like the game to load faster. Currently, whenever I load up Destiny, it takes, like from a cold start, it takes longer than I would like for it to load. It's a small complaint. It's not a really big deal if they don't change it, honestly, but I would like that if they could. Also, another thing I'd like is, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but if I leave Destiny kind of logged in, and then I quit the game, go to Netflix, go somewhere else on my console, come back, it makes this weird whirring sound, kind of like the disc is spinning improperly in the console. I don't know if this is just me. Feel free to let me know in the comments below if you have this issue or if you know why it's happening. But yeah, every single time that it says, oh, Destiny logged you out due to inactivity, there's that issue there. What do we got? Trying to take notes and watch out for Hive. Some of my next complaints are a little bit vague, I guess. The next point I have in particular, I want the game to explain what things are. So, I probably don't have many materials on this character. Let's see. I'm gonna die. That's fine. So, a lot of the items I find when looking through my vault of things, they don't explain what they are. They have some, you know, cool sci-fi name. and some of them may give a hint as to what they do or where they go. But I find that the older the item is, the closer to the beginning of the game release that it is, the fewer, like, the less of an indication of what it actually does. For example, if you didn't, you know, look it up online or happen to just discover it when speaking to the right person, do you know where Etheric Light goes? Do you know where Ascended Shards go? It would be nice if some items say, you know, Raoul or Tyra Karn may find this interesting, but a lot of items don't. So I think it's been commented on before, and you know, my comments here are not entirely novel, I'm sure, but it feels like the studio, the makers of Destiny, in the very beginning of the game, were so worried that a linear, coherent storyline would be so limiting to their player base that their players would just beat the story and never come back. I find it kind of ridiculous, and what's even more ridiculous is the fact that... Hold on. What's even more ridiculous is the idea that all Destiny is so scrambled in terms of story, in terms of items, in terms of everything, that a lot of the early part of the game was just trying to guess and figure out how it works. Now, I probably have a lot of Year 1 Destiny veterans who say that that was part of the experience of learning and discovering and unveiling the mystery. But I think you can all agree that there's just too much mystery in Destiny. There has to be some guidance and some direction. I mean, you have the Vanguard for, you know, you're not the only person out there saving the universe. You have this group of people responsible for saving humanity, and they don't really direct you that well unless it's a quest. Which leads me to my next point, actually. Let's just set a course here. Let's check. So, if you were around for Year 1 of Destiny, you will know that okay, fine. You will know that quests weren't really a thing in the beginning. Like I said, it feels like the studio was so concerned with keeping things open and loose that they provided no narrative structure at all. So their quests weren't a thing. Missions were all over the place. Now, I didn't get in on this point. I jumped in around the Taken King, and at that time they had quest lines, they had everything. So I'm really hoping that Destiny 2 has specific quest lines. It seems like they do. They also seem to have some kind of milestone tab or window where you can look at other kinds of activities that you and your clan can do. So that's interesting. Next is a small point, but it would certainly help replayability. I would like it if the story missions were clearly indicated as to which expansion they belong to. So here's an example. A friend of mine, just recently, actually he played on this channel about a month ago, the Letter 5. He, oh right, I'm doing controls. Forgot what I was doing. He has recently joined the bandwagon. He got an Xbox One. He's playing Destiny with us, and he's right in the beginning, so it's fantastic and exciting. But as I was exploring the beginning of the game with him, that's where I got the idea to make this video, just because some I hadn't run into since. One of the issues I have to kill him. Issues is actually follow through this in a world where expansions are on. So when he put up his director, he's got Vanilla Destiny, all of these Rise of Iron. He's got all of these missions. Mostly they are separated by slight visuals. You'll notice on the director, which I can't show you here and now, but you know they'll have like a symbol for the Rise of Iron or for Taken King. They'll have a diagram of of Crota or somebody to differentiate it. But I don't know. I just hope that there's a way that you can more easily follow the storyline in Destiny 2 after you've beaten it the first time. You want to go back with a new character, whatever, and run through all of the expansions without having to... I literally, when I first started, I got the Taken King collection, so I had a lot of missions. And I'd already played a few random ones, mostly on a friend's account, but as such, my knowledge of the exact structure of or you know, the actual order of the missions eluded me. So I actually looked it up. I had to Google, you know, drop a name of search engines here. I had to look up what mission was what, which one was next, which one was a part of the Taken King versus the Dark Below, things like this. So something like that would be good. Let's move closer here. I have another quick thought that people have literally spent hours debating and talking about, but I'll just make it simple. I hope that the player versus player experience, the multiplayer experience, does not take away from the player versus environment experience, and vice versa. So, again, simple point to make, but I know that Bungie is really set on trying to make both of them connected, and they've seen that in their weapon design, but I don't know. I trust them, but I also feel that they're kind of... I'm not exactly sure their design reasons for clinging to a system where two very separate environments have the same approach to weapons and balance. We're starting to see some differentiation, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, with supers charging faster. Maybe that's universal. We're also seeing announcements of power ammo being dropping more often in the player versus environment. So the stories and the strikes. So, yeah. Why there's nobody here? Oh well. So here's hoping that that's a trend that continues, and that we have an experience, we have a design experience that is unique to each type of game experience, so that we can enjoy it and to its full potential. Moving on, let's see, clan management from within the game. That would be something I would like, and it looks like we might get that. If you saw in the beta, or if you see in the PC beta, there seemed to be an item slot in the character loadout menu right about here, actually. See how slow it's loading? Anyway, right about here, there's an item to have your clan banner or something being represented. On top of that, there you go. On top of that, the menu for the, you know, for friends and interacting with other people in your team, it seemed to also possibly include more talk about the clan. So here's hoping that that's actually the case. It'd be nice to be able to add people to your clan, to remove them from your clan, to you know, view their clan more than just the name on their banner at the top. I'm also curious as to how exactly the banner design is going to work. We've been told that we'll have oh, I don't think I'm going to make it. I wish I had the clamor. Oh well. We were told that we'll be able to design unique banners for the game, and that they'll be able to be shown off. Maybe they'll go on our ships. I'd like that. I'm not sure. But I'm wondering where exactly we're going to do that. I mean, is that going to be an end game thing? Do we have to beat the story mission on our own before we have access to that? Or are we going to be right in the middle of the first mission and too busy dealing with all of these annoying little clan management things that we want, but maybe not when we're trying to start the story and beat Gaul? I don't know. Let's take a look. Okay, next point is a little bit vague, but I want objectives that are dynamic and they make sense. So right here on the left, you see docking caps collected. You bring up your ghost. It tells you exactly what you need to do. Find dregs, kill them, get these caps. Great. But there's a lot of times in Destiny where it's vague, and I think sometimes it's on purpose. You're in a mysterious place. You're doing a mission that you're not supposed to have all the answers. But sometimes it's purposefully deceiving. You'll load you'll have a thing on the left that says I don't know, pursue the darkness or something, and it'll say pull up your ghost for more details. You pull up your ghost, and there's nothing there except what you're seeing on my screen now. I've had that in a number of missions, and I can tell you it is very annoying, and I hope it's something that they work on. It does seem to be that way. I noticed a bunch of the in the beta, the Destiny 2 beta, I noticed that the hold on, more fallen drags, okay, and vandals. In the beta, I noticed that a lot of the objectives changed and were dynamic for whatever you had to do. Even the ghost dialogue, instead of just saying deploy ghost, you know, it or hacked or whatever. So the objectives will also change and be dynamic enough to keep things interesting, fully understand what it is we have to do. This up a little bit. Okay. Number stats. So you go into here and you go into a weapon and it tells you all these different stats. It doesn't give you a number. If you go in through the companion app or if you go through the Bungie website, it gives you a number. Now, I don't personally care that much about most weapon stats. Honestly, if a gun feels right, if it works right, fine. I might combine different perks for synergies that work really well. But I don't need the number. But there's a lot of people who do, and they love that sort of thing. So I think that it should be included. Have the actual number in place. Maybe keep it as a vague icon, but if you hold down the left trigger, it'll also give you numbers. That's a suggestion. What do we got? Finally, the last points I'm going to make, I've kind of made already in another video. It's mostly just related to the story, but I won't talk about them for too long. I'd like a few missions in Destiny 2 without your ghost. We're shown in the trailer. We're shown in the first mission that you lose your ghost. Gaul kicks him off. Bye-bye, ghost. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get him back. I mean, we see him in a strike, and it's just very integral, to the Destiny experience to have your ghost along for the ride. But I want some missions without ghost. I want to know what it's like to be on my own. I want to grow as my character, and even if they don't let us do too much of that, because as much as they want this to be a character-driven story, it's not really. I hope we just have a couple of missions without ghosts, so that when we do finally get them back, we appreciate having them around. Next related point is I want a story that matters. All of the threats in Destiny are do this thing or this big bad thing will kill everyone. But I never really felt the urgency of that. You know, Oryx came back to get, Crota was coming from the moon to take us all on. Nah, you got a little bit of the threat there when Eris Morn kept telling you how dangerous it was. Crota was coming back, taking things across the solar system, sure. But we never saw him invade the last city. We never saw humanity actually suffering. And I know it's very sadistic to say I need to see people suffering, but for a compelling story, I feel like you either have to have a villain whose threat is very obvious, or you have to have one whose consequences of the villain's acts are very obvious. So either make us truly believe that Gaul is this big bad guy that we need to defeat, and or show that Gaul's actions have really split us apart. And we're kind of seeing a little bit of that. We have to retreat and go to the farm, and the three Vanguard leaders surrender or split apart and go to other places, but I just hope that they make us feel more. We saw a little bit of that in the first story. We saw people hurt and cowering in fear, and again, it sounds weird to be requesting this kind of thing, but I just feel that if we had more of a connection, if we had more motivation, the story would be that much more interesting, compelling, and better for replayability. Anyway, that's about it for my video today. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth, as we say in some regions. Nope, no clamor ability in Destiny 1. Fell down. Okay. What do you guys think? What are you hoping for in changes? And I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have very specific weapon or crucible kind of changes. But yeah, feel free to drop me a line down below in the comments. Send me a message, whatever. What are you hoping changes? What do you hope stays the same? What little technical thing that you know can be easily fixed and doesn't really conflict with Bungie's, philosophy that they just haven't gotten around to fixing? I'd be really interested to hear what you have to say. Anyway, I'm really excited for Destiny 2, especially now that I've got more friends playing the game. And yeah, I hope to continue making videos, and I'm really excited to see how many things are proven wrong in the coming weeks. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye now.